So in a previous video, we've looked at the behaviour of our visitors. In this one, we're going to be looking at some reports that exist that tell us the flow. So yes, it's similar to the behaviour, but we're able to then track and see what the flow is through our entire website and track somebody all the way through. So from the landing page that they first come in on, all the way through to see where they exit the website. So let's jump in and have a look at these flow reports.
We've got several areas within Google Analytics where we can review flow reports. Now, the flow is basically the flow of traffic or the path taken through your site with slightly different variations for the different reports that we've got. So we can look at the user flow of the audience, we can look at the behavior flow of users, and the users flow from social traffic, and also an events flow. So for each of those, they've got slightly different variances within the reports itself. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at the users flow. So if we go to the audience and then click on users flow, now what we can see is the overview shows where a journey started, and in this example it's based on the country. Now we can change this by clicking on the drop down, and we can pick a different dimension that we want to run it for. In this, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as the country. So we can see the country, that's where they started, and then the path that those users took and where they then exited or left the site. It could be because they clicked on something else and went off, or they just closed their browser, whatever it might be. So where they exited. And then what we can also do is we can compare the traffic using different sources. So examine traffic patterns through the website and also use it to kind of troubleshoot any areas that might cause people to leave your site on a regular basis. So we can see here that we've got the United States, so if people started from, or the United Kingdom. Now, if I click on one, I can basically say, let's highlight traffic through here. So let's highlight the traffic that started from the United Kingdom, and then we can see, okay, well, this is the starting page. And so this is basically showing from the United Kingdom how many pages or sessions started on the basically the home page. How many started on Forms versus Forms Pro? How many started on the Microsoft Forms Pro page, and so on? And then what we've got is 51 more pages. So in other words, these ones are probably have a lot less in terms of the sessions. So if I click on this, I can look at the group details, and then we can see further information about these, how many sessions for these different pages, the percentage of traffic, and the drop-off rate. So then what we could do is I could say, okay, well, those that came from Forms versus Forms Pro, let's click on that and then let's highlight the traffic through there. So now we're looking for the different countries. So we know that 77 out of 508 started from the UK and came through that specific page. And then what we've got is, well, where did they go next? So we can see that from there, we have 6 that then came through and went to the main page. We have others that went through to the categories page, and then so on. And then we can see that there were second interactions. So out of those people, how many then went on to another page and another page and so on. And then we can scroll through until we get to the end where there are no more interactions. So we can see here that it's dropped off, and the last thing was that somebody that started there ended up going back to the category of Microsoft Forms Pro. So we can really use this to kind of look and see what the flow is of those users in terms of where they started from, in terms of, in this example, the country, what the first page was, what the second page was, the third page, and so on, what those different interactions were that somebody had on the website. So we can then go ahead and we can clear the highlighting and go back to the start to see everything. So it's really helpful to be able to see what pages people are coming to, and then from there, where are they then going on? And is there a common thread in terms of when people are leaving? Are they all leaving on the same specific page? So let's go ahead and look at the behavior section, and there we have the behavior flow. So this is giving us the ability to analyze the data by viewing the pages or viewing events, or looking at both pages and events at the same time. If we switch this and we look at events, we'll dig into events in a future video, but this is basically showing us events that have been triggered by users. So with the events, you can see which areas of your site might help to keep users engaged, and then the path between those events. So for example, if a user triggers an event such as downloading a white paper, then goes on to download another piece of content, you'll then be able to see the path between those two pieces of content consistently. So that's going to give you good insight to know that your marketing's working between those two pieces of content and you've gauged the user's interests correctly. We can also get to this if we go down to the events area, and we can also see the events flow from here as well. So it's showing us the same stuff, it's just two different places to go to it, and just the different filtering that we're putting on there. And again, we can look at it based on the country and where people are starting from, and then what they're actually going through in terms of those events that are being triggered by the users. Now, if we go back to the acquisition and we go to the social area, we'll see that we also have users flow under the social section. And instead of it being broken out by, well, what country have they started from, we can see that this is already set up to start from which social network did they start from. So if we go to YouTube, again, we can highlight the traffic through here. And then we can see, well, starting from YouTube, this is where the users have traveled. And this is the path and how many different interactions they have had. If we say view only the segment, then we can remove everything else and totally filter it by just this specific social network. So it's very clear that this is all of the traffic that has come and started from YouTube. And then where have they actually gone to? So this, we have traffic that's come from YouTube and then gone to the category of Google Analytics. Again, if I then want to highlight and drill through from there, we can see that after that, then we've had some traffic that's gone through onto one of the specific Google Analytics pages. And then it kind of drops off from there. So that's it. Someone came from YouTube, went to the category page, and then went to one specific post. So the user flow is going to definitely be helpful in terms of being able to see, again, where are the drop-offs? Where is it that your traffic is then ending and people are leaving the site? Where are you kind of getting the most from in terms of those social networks, for example? So is it that one of the social networks specifically is really then giving a flow through your site more so than other social networks? So maybe that's then where the majority of your audience is, and posting more on that social networking site is going to be helpful to your traffic.
Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.